Hi guys, John with you, and I've finished off the construction now of the Sherman, the last of the construction on it. I do the superstructure. I thought it was going to take me a bit longer than it actually did. The tracks took me longer than this did, and the tracks were simple. They really were, and this was actually even simpler again. Thought it was going to be a bit longer. The reason these applique armour pieces are kind of a different colour, I did a bit of texturing on them, and I used Tamiya extra thin in a little paintbrush, and unfortunately there was a bit of paint residue still on the brush, so I've got that little different colour on those, but I don't give a shit anyway because it's not really affecting what I got to do to it. The whole thing will be undercoated and all that anyway. Getting back onto these pieces here, I don't like the way they're fitted. I think they could do with a bit of weld seams around them, okay, because they were basically welded on after the factory, so there wouldn't be nice, neat, cleaned off welds on them. They'd be pretty rough, and any photographs I've seen of vehicles, even still surviving today, of ones that do have that applique armour on the driver and the passenger. I'm going to call them the passenger, it's just easier to say. Driver and the passenger, bog gunner, frickin' spare driver, Bob's your uncle, Mary's your aunt kind of guy. And there's another bit of applique armour here at the side covering the ammunition storage. And like I said earlier, any part of that I've ever seen before has been well welded on there, shall we say, and it can be seen from quite a distance, as in, you know, you don't have to be right up on it to see the weld seams. You can see them from a good distance back, so therefore they're going to be fairly prominent. There's a couple of ways of doing it. You can use a bit of stretch sprue to me extra thin and go over with, you know, soften it out and play around with it that way, but I'm going to go for a simpler method, basically a bit of putty, Mr. White putty, and use cocktail sticks, toothpicks, whatever you want to call them, as your applicator and your tool, shall we say. So I'll do just a tiny little bit, show you how I'm going to do it. I'm not going to show you the whole lot, and before I mean, I'm going on then for painting. I'll be starting with this lower section of the tracks, so I'll show you how the full lot turned out then, shall we say, when it be dry and cleaned up and everything else, and how it looks. So basically, apply a bit of putty. It doesn't want to stick for some reason at the start. I always find that with this Mr. Putty stuff, but once it sticks, then it's like frickin' I'm trying to think of something not rude to say. Okay, I'll say it. Shit to a blanket. That's what this fucking shit sticks like. Or you know, that old joke about the bear in the woods. He meets the rabbit. The bear says to the rabbit, he says, "Hey rabbit, do you know when you go for a toilet and all that, does shit stick to your fur?" The rabbit goes, no, don't think so. He goes, "It's good." Lifts up the rabbit and wipes his arse with it. So, like I said, what's that got to do with modelling? Absolutely fuck off. Okay. But it makes what I'm doing sort of even slightly interesting, right? Now, if I was all fully prepared for this, I'd have had a nice little wet little container of water, wouldn't I? I don't, so I'll have to use the old-fashioned method. Stick it in the mouth and roll it around. Okay. So get that nice and in there. Hope you can still make out what I'm doing here. Basically I'm just making all that nice and neat and roughly the same size. So then when I start putting in the pattern for the weld seam, at least it'll be pretty even all the way around. Okay, Welder didn't get fired in his first day for fat and thin welds. Like I said, they were sort of hastily put on, but they were put on by people that knew what they were frickin' doing. Okay, so they're big welds, not cleaned off, nice and neat. I think good solid welds. Okay, just give it a final little roll over with a damp stick. Now, I would like to let it dry for a little bit. I'd go the whole way around and get the whole thing done. Leave it for a minute or two. Then get a hobby knife, blade, whatever it is. Bad manners, I'm going to stick this in my fucking mouth again. But when I'm actually going to be doing it, I'll have a little basin of water and I'll have this out of my way and I'll be, you know, a lot easier, neater and anyway, right? So, I get the light around right now so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, now I'm going to try and see that you see what I'm doing. Hide my dirty fingernails and everything out at the same time. Okay, so with the knife then, tap it in, push it forward, pull it back. Make it nice and deep. Okay. You can clean it off then. But that's what I said. I mean, it's just still a little bit too soft to actually work, unfortunately. Once that's cleaned off, that'll look about a lot better. I'll clean most of that off. Just want to wait for it to dry a bit better than that. Reason you don't really clear it off too early is because you'll end up picking off chunks of it. So take your time, go around each piece like that, leave it dry in and then give it a clean off. It's actually, I mean, under a microscope it wouldn't pass muster, but for modelling it'll do the trick anyway. Right? Oh, get back into vision. So anyway, that's it for this update. I finished off all those motorbike, the lights, the lenses, the lights and the light covers, should I say, not the lenses. The lenses are clear glass, so I'll be fitting them at a later stage. Remember that earlier thing we were saying when I was doing the unboxing about the shields? Yeah, they're a little bit chunky. This won't suit the rivet counters at all. I'd say they're not be quite unhappy with them, but I'm sure you can go off and get aftermarket 50 quid for a couple of little bits of brass if you want to. But for a hobby modeler, this is fucking brilliant. Excuse my French, but this is really, really nice kit. Yeah, some nice detailing on it. I like the idea of the separate gas canisters and things like that. It makes the wash fall into them nicer compared to ones that are already, say, in place. You know, stuff that's already moulded on. The ones you put on yourself, and then when you give them a rub of a bit of wash and a pin wash, it just flows nicer around them and shows that little gap at the bottom, the tiniest of gaps, to show that they're, you know, they're not part of it, they're separate components, which they are. all the rest of it is really nice, really nicely done. The tools, it's got that little bracket there for on the sledgehammer. It was all moulded on as part of the hatchet, but once it's glued in place, it looks quite good. Whoopsie daisy, nicely detailed shovel, pickaxe hand, or pickaxe head, hatchet, handle there for the pickaxe. So the tools are quite nice in it. Everything is, it's to a very good standard. So overall, I have had it together before I sort of did this video. I put the wheels back on just to making sure everything fits, and it looked grand, and it did, and it really does look a lovely kit. So for the build part of it, I'd give it a good 8.5 out of 10 anyway. It's not perfect. I know the thicknesses of various things. I don't have to be a river counter to sort of to point them out, but they're not that bad. They are not that bad at all overall. And if that's all that's really going against it that I can kind of really make out, I'm happy with it. I'm sure there's another couple of bits and pieces that river counters would pick out on it, but for the detail that goes into the building of this, especially around the back there, for the hobby builder, that was a brilliant build, and a nice underneath as well, so you can actually paint something underneath that and give it a nice weathering. So if somebody comes in and says, "Oh, that's a nice looking Sherman," yeah, you lift it up and when you're handing it over to them, kind of flash the bottom of it to them, then put it in their hand and guarantee you they'll turn it over to have a look at it. So overall, a definite 8.5 out of 10 on the build. Now what I do after that now is another thing. I'll be painting it up, and that's a different scoring system altogether, because that has got nothing to do with ZVEZDA. It's all down to me. Now I did also say that I was thinking of doing a bit of stowage, because I had some resin stowage there that a friend had moulded up for me. I put up a little, played around with different settings on the back of this on how I could get storage onto it. Made up a little block of storage. Now I'm not a lover of it, being quite honest with you. Shall we say, the personal jewellery, whether I put it on or not, is out at the moment. They're in deliberations, so they'll probably get sequestered for the evening. But let me know what you think yourself. Okay, there's the little block that I'm after putting together. I was going to say made, because I didn't make it. A friend of mine kind of did it all up for me. I'll have to play around with this feckin' light again, because it's the white and the white balance. And when you're on an unadjustable, I can't adjust the contrast and things like that. But that's basically it. Okay, you got 2 ammo boxes. I'd say it's a tarp, all nicely bundled up and tied up, and they're individually tied and all, which is quite nice. Oops, come on, get back into view there. Right, we've got another big long ammo box then, with another tarp on top of it, little backpack or something maybe, yeah, a little backpack and a helmet then on top of that. So the reason it's got that little gap in it is because of the filler on this. It'd have to be able to get into the filler, but even at that, I don't know, I don't really like it. No, if I do fit it, it will be, roped from here over and wrapped around and all that kind of thing. You don't just sort of sit it on it and pretend that it balances there by magic. It frickin' doesn't. The first bump goes over, you're going to lose everything that's not tied down. But what do you think yourselves? I don't like it. I really don't. And I went to the bother. I spent about maybe 2 hours feck acting around with different storage, and old plastic bits of storage. I even made a wooden box and was going to cover it with a bit of a tarp, and I just went off the whole idea then for a finish. That's when I put the whole lot together, and I looked at the tank for a while with it on it, and looked at it without it, and I prefer it without it. So what do you think yourself? I mean, I might even fucking change my mind. I know it's mine at the end of the day, but I'd like to know what you think of this anyway. Just let me know in the comments box below. So anyway, that's it for this this reasonably short update on the Sherman. Is the last sort of update on the build, really, so there's a reason why it kind of went on a little bit, and I wanted to explain how I was going to do the welded seam beads, whatever bead seams to bead. Anyway, lads, I'll talk to you in the next one. Stay safe, enjoy your modelling. Of course, that's the important part of it all. It really is, that you enjoy it. Once you stop enjoying it, then just stop fucking doing it. Simple as that. And I do it because I enjoy it, and I don't overdo it. Spend about 2 hours of an evening, you know, and everybody's kind of settling down for the evening. Then I can go downstairs, have a cup of tea, come back up and go to bed. Simple as that. What more does a person need? At our age, anyway. So anyway, lads, like I said, I'll leave you off. Catch you on the next one. Next one now we'll be starting on the painting and everything else. We'll be working on the lower section first. I'll have it the undercoat done on it, and then we can discuss it from there. So I'll see you in the next one, lads. Stay safe. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you've not already subscribed, and also hit the bell so you'll be notified as soon as I do upload the next one. So that's until then, take care, enjoy your modelling, have a nice day, have a nice evening, be nice to everybody, blah 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 blah. Go out and buy yourself a fucking kit and build it and enjoy it. John signing off. See you in the next one, lads. Take care.